Welcome back, or welcome into our broadcast vantage point from the 2023 D3Hoops.com Classic at the South Point Arena and Resort in Las Vegas, Nevada, where this evening or this afternoon, depending on where you are, we bring you a matchup between the Clark University Cougars, 8-2, and the 9-1, 8th-ranked Case Western Reserve University Spartans. Spartans with a big victory last night in the marquee matchup of this event. They utterly dominated Oswego State in a meeting of undefeated top 10 ranked teams. Case Western beating Oswego handily last night. Before that, Clark pushed number 22 Trinity, Texas to the utter limit. The Tigers escaping on a late Jacob Harvey three-pointer, and the Tigers then just rolled over Pomona Pitzer in their game leading into this one. So the Tigers are already into the clubhouse, so to speak, 2-0. And the Clark looking to get into the win column before they head back east to Worcester, Massachusetts. Starting lineups for the Case Western Reserve University Spartans. You get a look at it there. Anthony Mazzio, Colin Kale, number 11, Umar Rashid, Rich Manigo, and Luke Thorburn, the last starter for Coach Todd McGinnis. It's been basically the same starting lineup for every single game. 4 of those guys have started 10 games, and one of them has started 9, or has started 8, so it doesn't get too much better than that in terms of consistency. Starting lineup for the Cougars out of Worcester, Massachusetts, Isaiah Taylor, the 6-foot junior guard, all-conference last year, joined in the backcourt by Mikey O'Brien and Bruce Santillis. Reed Newman in the 4-guard spot, and Kakoa McCardle, the lone forward, 6'8", averaging 11.2 rebounds per game for the Cougars. Clark coached by Tyler Sims, a graduate of Trinity College of Connecticut.
Gee, where have I heard that school before?
Yeah, 2008. He and I missed each other by just a couple of years.
Couple of years?
Yep.
That's unfortunate. I'm sorry, Gordon.
Still knew enough guys, crossed over enough that we're at the end of my career and the beginning of his that we were able to do a little bit of reminiscing last night on the when he was here watching the game between Case Western and Oswego. We should mention, if you're a Case Western fan tuning in and you're confused about who's on the floor, that is your team. That's Western Reserve, the schools, Case Western uniting back in 1967. Western Reserve was one school. Case Institute was another. They had 2 different athletic programs. It was the Case Institute Scientists and the Western Reserve Red Cats.
Actually, I got an update. They apparently, it was the Scientists were the early version. It was the later one they were in at the time.
Okay, yeah, so they were the Scientists, and I think it was the Red Cats and the Pioneers and the Scientists and
Rough Riders?
Rough Riders,
yeah.
Yes. So they united and picked none of those. They picked the Spartans.
Right. Todd McGinnis was talking to me earlier. He's like, right? I mean, we could have had some really cool names.
You could have had a cool name, but
like Rough Cats or something.
Yeah, yes, there you go. That would have been
or Red Cats.
Red Cats. Red Riders.
Red Riders.
But they're wearing the Red Cat jersey tonight, and that is Case Western in red. Clark, it looks very much like Clark's home jersey, which is, it looks...
Yeah, that's going to throw me all night.
Or away jersey, which looks exactly like that, but Clark's in the home whites, and we're underway.
His claim was that they had something wrong with their blue uniforms, so they had to go to their Western Reserve ones, but something tells me something else is up.
Mikey O'Brien spins in, shot no good.
Oh, wow.
Follow as McCardle has his shot spiked off the glass. Cougars retain possession. Cougars with a tough draw. They get number 8 and number 22 in their trip here as Isaiah Taylor hits the fadeaway jumper, but Coach Sims said, that's what I wanted. I wanted 2 really good games. Get us ready for conference play. When they get back, they have Babson waiting for them and jump into NUMAC play. And, of course, UAA is extremely deep. 4 teams in the top 25. 3 on the way off the mark and no good for Rashid. So Case Western won't have to worry about tough games when they get into conference play. NYU played earlier today and won. WashU and Emory also ranked. Mikey O'Brien shot off the glass. Ball tipped around and controlled by Luke Thornburg.
You mentioned the NUMAC. WPI played earlier today and lost.
Yeah,
only held to 38 points.
Yeah, that's
surprising. Or is it?
Richie Manigo, the transfer from Washington and Lee, swoops in and scores, and the Spartans are on the board. Case Western, you can read about it on D3Hoops.com, the Around the Nation column. Ryan Scott talks about the transfers to Case Western. They've got a bunch of them. Manigo from Washington and Lee. Colin Kale, who was the all-conference selection at University of the South, or Sewanee last year. And Mazeo, who was at Baldwin-Wallace. Mazeo with a big game last night.
Yeah, Mazeo had a huge game, big threes, really helped kind of spark this team to a hot shooting night.
That shot is short for Kale, who was relatively quiet last night. Pull-up three on the way for the Cougars, no good. Mikey O'Brien testing from the top of the arc. We're tied at 2. Mazeo, grad student from nearby Baldwin-Wallace. Coach McGinnis said he's really the only one of the transfers that I specifically pursued. The others all had some sort of previous connection.
And McGinnis always indicates he doesn't tend to go out there looking for these grad students. They seem to come his way via some type of connection or circumstance. Case Western Reserve, of course, a very good school to go for graduate programs, too.
Doesn't hurt to have those programs behind you. Preston Mako is the 4th of the transfers. Mako from Wesleyan University in Middletown, Connecticut.
Yeah, smart kid. No, listen, I'm not biased at all about Wesleyan. Of course, it's best of all the Wesleyans.
Mazeo at the free throw line puts the Spartans on top 4-2.
Yeah, Mazeo good at the free throw line, good at the three-point line last night, good at dishing, keeping the guys sparked. He didn't have as big a second half because they didn't need it. He did all his heavy lifting in the first half.
Case Western really completely overwhelming Oswego State in that matchup. This is Bruce Santillis pulls up. Well, push shot from Santillis is good. We're tied at 4.
Santillis, he's a nice player. I like his play. We'll have to keep an eye on how he plays against a team a little bit bigger than him. Granted, Trinity was bigger than he was. He played very well in that game.
Mazeo loses his man. Pull-up jumper for 3 from the left wing. Got it.
That's deja vu to last night. Another key about this, too, Case Western Reserve playing today. Oswego not playing until tomorrow. Todd McGinnis talking about how last year in the NCAA tournament he felt his team was hurt by not having experience playing back-to-backs. UAA, you have a day off in between games. And so he went out there to look for these opportunities to give them the experience of playing back-to-backs, especially after a big win.
Yep.
How do they recover against a very good Clark team after they celebrated the win over Oswego last night?
Maceo's 3 has the Spartans up 7-4. Pull-up jumper. Oh, he got hit in the face. No call.
I was going to say, did he? Yeah, I couldn't tell if he got hit or not. You had a better angle.
Either his head jerked back at a very unnatural angle as he was coming down. Maybe it was something else, but
too bad the Trinity fans left. I'm sure they could have given us their opinion on it.
Pass down the court. This turns into a 2-on-1 break, but Sam Trunley will pull it back. Trunley from Glen Ridge, New Jersey.
He had a big game last night. He was a workhorse. Especially when Thorburn in foul trouble sat pretty much the entire second half.
Spin, score for Colin Kale.
And Kale had a good game yesterday, though quiet. As you said, not a lot of points, but he was a workhorse inside.
59% field goal percentage for Kale on the season. He is tops in his top for his team. Shot blocked, and there's Colin rejecting his 10th shot of the year. Case Western, like Pomona Pitzer, just all kinds of height and length everywhere.
Kale also had a rough landing late in the game. Got undercut by Anderson for Oswego. I thought it was inadvertent. I think everyone got surprised that Kale went up for a ball that was way over his head. He landed hard on his shoulder but bounced right to his feet.
Shot no good. Saintelis with the rebound. His follow won't go.
The only problem with Kale in that moment was he got up and he dropped a couple extra Fs that the officials decided was one too many. So we ended up picking up a technical, and they changed the Anderson call from a regular foul to a flagrant. So it was an interesting moment late in that game.
Kick out, open look for three. Front rim hangs in the air and just off the mark for Preston McHugh.
I really thought that was going to roll right over. It did not.
Nope.
This is a good test for Clark. Even if they come out of this 0-2, if they play tight against both these teams, I think it speaks volumes for where they're going to be as a program.
Third in the preseason for the Newmac. Three-pointer is up and good. That is Quentin Pridgeon. Pridgeon 5 for 13 on the season from three, so some success in limited shots.
Can't remember what he did last night, but he was certainly a factor. But I don't remember how he shot from deep.
Spartans with Trunley with the ball. Trunley off the screen from Kale. Mascio hangs and hits.
Oh, wow. That's the thing, is he could shoot from deep, Gordon. He can also go drive off the ball and get baskets to fall like that.
Yeah, Mascio, 16 points per game. He's their leading scorer. Shot, got it, counted, going to the line. Isaiah Taylor, who averages 17.5, with the quick answer the other way for the Cougars.
That was a nifty move to the lane, catching everybody off guard a little bit.
Taylor was the Cougars' leading scorer last night. Ian Calabrese checks in, the junior guard from Simsbury, Connecticut. Comes to the sideline, or replaces Santalis, who heads to the bench.
I think the Newmac's going to be an interesting team conference this year.
I get the sense from your earlier comments you're not a huge believer in WPI.
Well, how many times have we seen them start really strong and then somehow fade by the time we get to late January or the middle of February? And I've had a few people wondering if they're just doing that again.
Three on the way for Preston McHugh, former Wesleyan Cardinal, drills it. And it's 14-9 Spartans.
You got a conference where Springfield has kind of come back to earth after a number of years up on top. Babson, not as strong as they're used to being.
That pass hits Kakoa McCardle in the face.
Yeah, right. Guess that's using your head.
Three-pointer on the way, up and good. Anthony Mascio, and the Cardinals need a timeout. Case Western, who took about 25 minutes to blow out Oswego State, goes up 8 here. Full timeout. We'll take it with him. You're watching the 2023 D3Hoops.com Classic.
For the love of the game. But for those of us who are Division III student athletes, it's more than that. A lot more.
Sure, the game is important. But as we work so hard to build both mind and body, it's more about team.
That is why NCAA Division III teamed up with Special Olympics. And in giving the gift of sport to those for whom it seemed an impossible dream, we are working to make this a better world.
Help us keep that dream alive.
You can make a difference.
We've got more schools than Division I, more fans than Division II, and more upsets than March Madness. There's nearly 850 programs with over 11,000 games leading to 2 national championships. And we've been covering it all for over 2 decades. From Eastern to Occidental, from Puget Sound to Piedmont, from Southwestern to the University of New England, and from Hope to Calvin. Nobody covers Division III basketball like we do. We're D3Hoops.com at www.d3hoops.com.
Case Western Reserve looking to join Trinity as a 2-0 team coming out of the D3Hoops.com Classic. Still early, very early. Spartans with a 17-9 lead as the Cougars break the huddle. They bring in Christopher Clark, the aptly named reserve guard, along with Mikey O'Brien back on the floor. Isaiah Taylor, this is O'Brien, swoops and scores for 2. Clark looks like they'll go to a little bit of a press, see if they can create some turnovers. Mako for Rashid. Now Mako finds Mascio for an open 3 and drills it. Wow, he is on fire. 36% three-point shoot, 39% three-point shooter on the season. And he is got 13 points in 7 minutes. Rashid with the rebound. He can shoot the 3 as well. Hands the ball off for Sam Trunley. Now Rashid backing his defender down. Mascio for Trunley. Case Western also has Ian Elam in the game, number 25 from Belmont, California. And
Wow.
there's Rashid for three.
Rashid struggled last night getting off the shots. He didn't get one until his fifth one, and it was late in the second or middle of the second half before he finally started stroking it. There's a good one.
Mikey O'Brien off a clean feed from Kakoa McCardle. 23-13. Mako, all-conference player in the NESCAC. Over for Rashid. Now for Mascio. Mascio with the hot hand, and he finds Rashid for easy two. Boy, the Case Western offense has just been a thing of beauty in the 50 minutes or so they played here.
Good job not kind of resting on their laurels from last night.
Taylor for O'Brien. O'Brien still has his dribble, now uses it. McCardle sets him a screen. O'Brien shielded off nicely by Trunley outside. Clark for three. That's no good, and Mascio skies in for the rebound.
Mascio can do it all, and he's showing just how important he is to this unit.
Oh,
nice
Isaiah
pick.
Taylor with the rip down the floor, and he will score.
Tip of the hat there. That was beautiful.
Taylor leads the team in steals. Gets it back to 10 points. Mako for Trunley, a deep three, no good. Ball tipped out, and Taylor will look to push the tempo for the Cougars. Accelerates, Mascio gets his hands on him, just enough to slow him down, but see whether the foul is ruled on the floor or in the act of shooting.
I think it'll be in the shooting. Yep.
Mascio with the foul, can transfer from, or graduate school transfer from Baldwin Wallace, which is very nearby to Case Western. Case Western in Cleveland and Baldwin Wallace in nearby Berea.
Another good team in the Cleveland area, John Carroll.
Yep.
A lot of good basketball in that northeastern corner of Ohio.
Mascio reminds me of some of the guards that Marietta had a couple of years ago in terms of his build and his aggressive style of play and his ability to shoot the three.
Reminds me a little of Buzz Anthony.
Okay, Randolph-Macon guard.
I think Buzz was a little bit more cerebral.
You mean in terms of like chess or math? Or
Yeah,
that sort of thing?
just knowing. Buzz Anthony had a mind for the game that I have not seen in a lot of people his age, but he had an unfair advantage in the fact that his parents were coaches and officials, and he's a trained official. So he understands the game from a whole nother perspective. And he's talked about doing that. So I can't ever say a player has that from his perspective, because that's just amazing, and that's going to be a travel.
Trunley.
Great defense from Clark.
Yeah, nice from Clark. Yes, both the player and the team.
Yes, I was individual, but it was a team thing. Was it you or Pat who said last night he has to play the entire season with the names misspelled on the front of his jersey?
Clark. Yeah.
He spells it with an E.
Yeah, he's like the school from Iowa. He
Yes.
went to the wrong place. Taylor, or rather, that's Santillis with the basket. Santillis has drawn the Cougars within 7, so Clark hanging in there.
Clark, listen, I'm really impressed with him this year.
Richie Manigault.
I know last year
Ball
didn't.
jarred free. Thorburn lose it. Taylor the other way. He's got McCardle running with him. Ball kicks around, and loose ball eventually controlled by the Spartans.
I know their season didn't finish well last year because it's a tough NUMAC, but I think they've learned from that and they're on a mission this year.
Kale for three. No, rattles off. McCardle with the rebound. Hands off for Clark, and now O'Brien brings the ball up the floor. Santillis lurking outside the three-point line, and instead it's Mikey O'Brien who hits the three instead, and the Cougars, after being down 12, have got it down to 4.
And Mazzio's going to come back in along with
It's Trunley.
Trunley.
Yep, number 10. Luke Thornburn.
Yeah, Thornburn tends to come in for Trunley and vice versa. And they don't tend to be on the floor at the same time.
Yeah, a little better ball handling with Mascio and Trunley on the floor than with Thornburg and Mako. Mascio. Pridgeon picks him up. Oh, good give and go for Rashid. Beautifully done.
Rashid actually got kind of taken out of the game last night, and I don't know if it was on purpose or not. He just wasn't as big a factor. He is a completely different factor tonight.
That was gorgeous. 3 on the way.
Oh.
Santillis has it rattle out, and a foul on Pridgeon. I think they're going to rule for Clark.
Yeah, he shoved Mazzio as they were going with the rebound. The two of them having a discussion about the foul. Mazzio's got a smile on his face about it.
Can't ask for a better start for Case Western. 63% from the field, 5 of 11.
Yeah, again
from 3.
It's what they did last night against Oswego.
Yeah,
they're just a really good shooting team.
But they also have those plays like Rashid just had, where they generate easy baskets down low. So this is a little more balanced of an offense than what you saw from Trinity in the last game, although that was also extremely effective.
Well, Trinity got forced all outside, which was really interesting to watch.
Manigo, that's his move, swoops in and misses it this time. Kale with the rebound, and he scores.
He outfought 3 Clark players for that ball.
Kale, part of the Sewanee team that made the NCAA tournament with a surprise run through the SAA last year. 29-21. Spartans up by 8. First action of the game for the senior guard from Lawrence, Massachusetts, number 23 for Clark. This is Jordan Richard.
I wonder what it's like for Kale to be watching Rhodes out here.
Well, familiar faces.
Right. Ooh. That is close to being awkward at the line.
Isaiah Taylor drives in, gets by Massio, but not Rashid. Rashid swats it away. Here come the Spartans the other way. Pull up 3, got it.
Because that's how you draw it up.
Wow.
You block a shot down here and you come down in transition and hit the 3-pointer.
It's such a gifted athlete.
Yeah.
Umar Rashid has put the Spartans back up by 11. O'Brien tries Rashid, trying to find an angle on him. Hangs, leaves it short. Massio with the rebound. He's got Manigo. He's just got all conference players all over the place. Trunley with the ball fake. Puts it up and scores. And Clark needs a timeout after getting it down to 5. Spartans erupt, and it's back to a 14-point advantage. 7:40 to play. We'll step out and take it. You're watching the 2023 D3Hoops.com Classic.
To be able to say you learned poetry from Ohio's Poet Laureate.
There's a lot of opportunities to do research as an undergraduate student. I've actually had a chance to file for a provisional patent on my research.
We built a pediatric pulse oximeter for use in developing nations.
We built a hypodermic needle incinerator.
Thanks to ThinkBox, I'm developing my concept for a fuel injector that makes jet engines safer and more efficient. It helped me earn a trip to meet President Obama and pitch my company to investors from the TV show Shark Tank.
All I heard was, you have been admitted to Harvard Law School. You know, you come out on the other side and just realize, like, wow, like, this is what I can do. This is how far you can go. And it feels really good.
We've got more schools than Division I, more fans than Division II, and more upsets than March Madness. There's nearly 850 programs with over 11,000 games leading to 2 national championships. And we've been covering it all for over 2 decades. From Eastern to Occidental, from Puget Sound to Piedmont, from Southwestern to the University of New England, and from Hope to Calvin. Nobody covers Division III basketball like we do. We're D3Hoops.com at www.d3hoops.com.
Welcome back to Las Vegas. Timeout taken by Tyler Sims Cougars. They trail 35-21 as the Spartans explode for a 9-0 run. They're going to say that one of the threes was a 2. I'm not sure which one. It wasn't Rashid's because his was.
Oh, most certainly.
That was like 5 steps beyond the last line.
It's going through my head right now, and I can't think of any that I thought were close, but okay.
Isaiah Taylor, as Clark has brought Reed Newman back into the game. This is Newman with the hair flowing behind him. Swoops and scores. Clark trying to respond. Massio up the floor for Kale, and now for Trunley. Trunley passes off for Kale, and O'Brien, they're going to rule, got too much of the arms of Kale.
Yeah. He got to the ball eventually. It's just he got the arms in the process.
Neither team in any kind of foul trouble or in danger of putting the other in the bonus. 7:08 to play. That's just the 5th foul total in the game. 3rd on the Cougars. Mann for Rashid, and now Trunley off the pseudo screen. Kale will take the 3, and the rebound controlled by Richards. Cougars with a chance to get this down to single digits again. Jordan Richard, Taylor, and now for Newman. Santillis, pull-up jumper. Good, wow. Net barely even moved. Smooth stroke for Bruce Santillis, the junior guard from Plainville, Massachusetts. Averages almost 17 points per game.
Got the steal.
And he can do whatever he wants right now. And it's just that.
Azio can't believe there's no call, but there wasn't. He turned into the defender. The defender didn't foul him. He spun back in to Santillis, and it dribbled it off the guy's foot.
Hey, you have to be happy if you're Tyler Sims as far as the response. You call timeout, you get a quick 6-0 burst that gets you back to... I did not see it. I was watching this other side.
Oh, okay. There was a little holding, a little frustration from Taylor because he thought he was being held in the process. And he kind of reciprocated the same hold and got called for it. But they say the second person always gets caught.
Californian Ian Elam back in the game for the Spartans. Spartans wearing their red Western Reserve uniforms tonight. Good defense from Taylor. He creates another turnover. O'Brien for Isaiah Taylor. Taylor, nifty dribble, low to the floor. Can't finish, but he is fouled and will go to the line. Sam Trunley commits the foul. Second foul on Trunley, so the Spartans only have 3 as a team, but Trunley's managed to pick up 2 of the 3. So Mako will check in for Trunley. Trunley, a guest on the QCast. It's just posted earlier today, Bob Quillman's interview series.
Trunley wasn't in foul trouble last night. He was the one coming in to help with foul trouble.
Depth, not an issue for Case Western. They bring Mako off the bench. Taylor, got them both. And the Cougars are back within 5. So it was 14, then 5, then 17, then 5. Oh, 2 guys collide for Clark. Newman wiped out. Kale will eventually work his way, just does get across the timeline. Kale for Mascio. Now Manigo will do a little 2-man game, but passes long, and another steal for Isaiah Taylor. Taylor is everywhere.
Yeah, he seems to be in a bit of a mission right now.
Drive in, Richard shot. Wow! Power move from Jordan Richard, who only scores 6 points per game. But the Cougars have come out of that timeout and cut the lead down to 3.
Like, score 6 points, but if you play like that, you're going to score a lot more than that.
Manigo tries to stop the run. That shot no good. Richard can't get to the rebound. Mascio traveled.
He got caught. Ended up taking that extra step. He got caught in the middle of the decision.
He wasn't sure which way Kale was going to go, so he hesitated. Santillis checks out. There is a very rowdy Clark fan in the stand sitting all by himself with all kinds of red beads on.
I noticed that.
He was there last night, too. And he was, again, all by himself with a similar outfit.
I mean, hats off to coming here.
Yeah. Richard's shot is short. Kale with the rebound. Mascio down the floor for Kale, and now for Rashid, who has shown good range. He's hit 2 threes already. Spartans up by 3. Mascio off a screen. Rashid will try from the other side. And no good, but the rebound for the Spartans will give him another opportunity. Kale will try it. That rattles out. Another rebound.
Mako,
shot, no. And this one's coming my way. I was wide open.
Well, and nearly hit. We got 2 guys who went down here.
Oh.
I'm not sure who.
Oh, there's 2 guys. I was busy catching the ball. I did not.
It's like Kale.
Yes, for an O'Brien.
O'Brien, yeah. I think
they're both holding their faces.
Yeah, so. I think somehow they hit head to head.
Ouch.
but I didn't see it. I was looking off away from them.
Yeah, well, I was, as I mentioned, waiting for the ball to come my way.
Todd McGinnis was looking for a foul call. Again,
Who
I have no idea. I was looking at the injuries by that point, and O'Brien is now out being looked at by the training staff.
So O'Brien checks out, Pridgeon checks in. This is the fourth chance here for Case Western on this possession.
You wanted to say Clark, didn't you?
I wanted to say Baldwin Wallace because Massio was out there. And coming our way again.
Yeah, Pridgeon nearly got the clean steal there. 8 seconds on the shot clock.
Mako to inbound. Gets it for Rashid. Back to Mako. Oh, well, that was a pretty way to finish the possession.
That works out nicely.
5th time's the charm. Mako coasts in for an easy layup, and the lead is back to 5 for Case Western. 4 minutes to play. Pridgeon zips it out. Richard had an open look at 3. Drives in instead, and Colin Kale swats it away. That's the problem. You get Rashid in the air, you get past the 1-6-7 guy, and there's another one waiting for you at the rim.
Rashid has gotten a couple blocks too. He's been the help guy. It's the help guy you got to be more worried about.
It gives Rashid a chance to be more aggressive because he knows he's got an equal athletic talent in behind him. Pridgeon for Taylor, who's been really special in this half. Drives in, shot, no. Rashid cleans up the rebound.
If he had made that would have been impressive. He got shut down on the near side, tried to get it on the back and just couldn't get it to fall. And Mako misses the shot, and it's going to stay Spartan's possession.
And last touched, I believe, by McCardle.
By the way, if you're on the Spartan team, you got to be able to check your ego at the door. Clearly, there's so much good talent, but you got to understand not everybody can be on the floor.
Ian Calabrese. 3:39 to play in the first half. Spartans have led throughout. Cougars have hung tough. Had it down to 3 a few moments ago. Right now at 5. Massio kicks over. Thornburg for 3. And that's good.
Oh, no, 2. Foot was on the line.
2, okay. Long 2 for Thornburg.
Talking to some other coach earlier this season on Hoopsville, and he said, listen, I had to tell players who wanted to come and play with us, okay, but you got to be willing to maybe come off the bench, even though you were a 4-year starter.
Drive in, McCardle tries the reverse layup. No good. Rebound for Thorburn. Western Reserve down the floor. I think we're okay to call them that on this occasion. And that was like all kinds of extra steps.
Yeah, that was, that didn't work to my right. Let me try to my left. I moved up 3 feet.
No one's making eye contact with Luke Thorburn because everyone knows that's a travel.
Yeah, nice try.
Clark brought Ian Calabrese back into the game. Now he goes to the bench. And Christopher Clark returns for the Cougars. So it's Clark, Taylor, McCardle, Santalis, and Richard. And that is Santalis, and that is no good. But he's fouled. And free throws coming.
His first personal, 14th foul. Santalis at the line for Clark. 2 shots.
Santilla's second on the team in scoring was 16.5, just in behind Taylor, who's 17.5. Nice junior combination in the backcourt for Coach Sims, who is an all-conference player at Trinity. His coaching staff, made up of Calvin Seward and longtime assistant Tyrone Hicks, was in his 30th season on the Cougars staff, 1986 graduate. 39-32. Santalis gets 1 of 2. And good defense on Thorburn. I thought it was. Now it ends up being a fast break. Rashid for 3. Back rim, no. Taylor has it poked away. Massio for Rashid. Rashid will kick it back out. As well as and as hard as Clark has played, just the sheer size of Case Western seems to give them extra possessions. Massio for 3, yes. And
that's foot on the line again. The guys are outside the old three-point line.
Yeah, there's
they keep
3 of them there.
on the newer line. It's interesting.
41-32.
Some coaches would call that a wasted three or a wasted jumper because you're that close to a three.
Santillis hangs, and that one won't quite fall for Bruce. Here comes Luke Thorburn flying down the floor and scoring.
No one picked up ball.
And Thorburn and the Spartans again, 14-5, 17-5, and now back to an 11-point lead. McCardle on the pass. Nice find from McCardle to Richard, and the Cougars get it back down to 9. See if they can get it within 5 or so before this half is over. Look at the stats. Second chance points must be, well, they're not as bad as I thought. 9-2. Seems like it's more than that.
Yeah, I would have agreed with you.
Kale for 3. And it's good. Colin Kale with the 3, and the Spartans extend the lead back to 12. It almost seems not fair.
Fair.
You got guys that are that tall who can shoot the 3. Clark will try for Clark. No good. Mascio with the rebound. His eyes looking down the floor. He'll go to Thorburn instead. And now into the post for Kale. Kale, give and go. Thorburn won't get it to fall. And the Cougars finally get a rebound. Santillis, 2-on-2, drives in. Mascio bumps him. I thought there was a traveling violation there.
Didn't it? Yeah.
Santillis there, he comes down and collects and scores. And the Spartans going to take a timeout. 29 seconds to play.
Todd McGinnis. Maybe does the UAA use media breaks? Because maybe he's used to you got to use a 30 before the end of the half.
I don't. They very, very well may.
Because that felt very much like I got to use a 30-second timeout before the end of the half, or I lose it.
Up 10 with 30 seconds to play. It doesn't seem like a particularly strategic moment.
No, I think that was instinct there.
His coaching staff, couple of nuggets on them. Brian Wycliffe, the former all-conference player for the Worcester Scots. One of his assistants, Brian Murphy, who's the son of long-time Hamilton coach Tom Murphy. And Jason Lewis on his staff. McGinnis spent some quality time in upstate New York. Was the head coach at Hartwick College in Oneonta, which is about 30 minutes from where Hamilton is in Clinton, New York.
McGinnis, it's 30 minutes?
30, 45, depends on the snow. Certainly,
it definitely depends on that.
Certainly no traffic between Oneonta and Clinton, New York.
I drove between Hamilton and Oneonta to look at both Hamilton and Hartwick. Oh, look at this.
Wow, Clark wrestling with Mazzeo, and a foul called as Mazzeo is saying, what do I have to do to get a foul? That's exactly, as I was saying it, his lips were saying the exact same words. 15 foul on the Cougars. Again, he did not get cheated on that.
Oh, no. No, he earned it. I thought the first one was just good hard hustle, but definitely got fouled in the end.
Mascio with 18 seconds. Cougars still have 2 fouls to give, so to speak, before the Spartans are in the bonus. Trunley out guarded by Richard, and he's going to do exactly that. Fouls, and Reed Newman checks in for
McCardle.
Kakoa McCardle, the junior from Pittsfield, Mass, heads to the bench. 9 seconds to play in this very lengthy final possession. Trunley for Kale, who drives to the rim. And he is fouled by Santillis. And now it is 1-1.
17 fouls, Spartans in the bonus.
Well, he managed to get 3 fouls in 20 seconds. And McCardle returns.
A lot of movement here.
Yep. A lot of strategy for the last 29 seconds of a 10-point game in the first half. Just halftime.
Yeah.
There's another half left.
Coming up at halftime, we'll hear from Husson's Wayne Caruso in our classic conversations.
We have 2 of the top 7 coaches in terms of active coaches in Division III for wins. Caruso is number 7. Katsiafikis is number 4. Baptiste at Mass Dartmouth is 1. Dick Peth at Wartburg is 2.
Someday a great trivia question: what Cameron Hill and Katsiafikis have in common? That got blocked, and that will not convert.
So that is the way the first half comes to a close. You're going to have to tell me the answer when we after the half.
You should know as a Spurs fan, sir.
Oh, okay. All right. Sure. The one gave up his job. One took a job from a former Spurs coach, and the other one's father gave up that job to the same guy.
Same
it's
coach.
the Greg Popovich connection, yeah. So that will take us to the half of game number 5 of day number 3 of D3Hoops.com Classic number 13. We'll take a break, and we'll be back in a bit.
More schools than Division I, more fans than Division II, and more upsets than March Madness. There's nearly 850 programs with over 11,000 games leading to 2 national championships. And we've been covering it all for over 2 decades. From Eastern to Occidental, from Puget Sound to Piedmont, from Southwestern to the University of New England, and from Hope to Calvin. Nobody covers Division III basketball like we do. We're D3Hoops.com at www.d3hoops.com.
To be able to say you learned poetry from Ohio's poet laureate.
There's a lot of opportunities to do research as an undergraduate student. I've actually had a chance to file for a provisional patent on my research.
We built a pediatric pulse oximeter for use in developing nations.
We built a hypodermic needle incinerator.
Thanks to ThinkBox, I'm developing my concept for a fuel injector that makes jet engines safer and more efficient. It helped me earn a trip to meet President Obama and pitch my company to investors from the TV show Shark Tank.
All I heard was, you have been admitted to Harvard Law School. You know, you come out on the other side and just realize, like, wow, like, this is what I can do. This is how far you can go. And it feels really good.
For the love of the game. But for those of us who are Division III student athletes, it's more than that. A lot more.
Sure, the game is important. But as we work so hard to build both mind and body, it's more about team.
That is why NCAA Division III teamed up with Special Olympics, and in giving the gift of sport to those for whom it seemed an impossible dream, we are working to make this a better world.
Help us keep that dream alive.
You can make a difference.
The beautiful thing about a liberal arts education is you have to take classes all over the place.
So I think we're very versatile in terms of what we learn and what we know.
And because of that, you might find love in an area of study that you've never been exposed to before.
And here at Rhodes, you can make that a double major, you can make that a minor. Anything that you can think of, you can kind of take that and run with it. And Rhodes is here to support you through that.
Out here in Las Vegas, Nevada with another D3Hoops.com Classic conversation. And I'm here with Warren Caruso, the head coach of Husson. His team victorious in their first game here at the Classic, defeating Laverne by the score of 96-75. First of all, Coach, I just want to thank you guys for coming back out. This is your 3rd trip to this event. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a great event. We really enjoy it. Guys always have a really enjoyable time, and basketball is always great. And then the city, you can't beat Las Vegas, and no matter who you are, you can find something to enjoy yourself with. And last night we went to the Blue Man Group as a team and really had a good time with that. And so it's always a special trip for us.
Blue Man Group is a great place to take young people when you are this is for all the college administrators out there. You could definitely send your kids to Las Vegas for this event. Your team kind of comes from all over the place, right? Obviously you got a bunch of Maine guys and a bunch of New Hampshire guys, or a couple New Hampshire guys, then Florida and California and all sorts of things. How'd you get those guys to come to Husson?
Well, yeah, I think we've really got a really good product, and we've expanded our recruiting a little bit. We look at recruiting in New England to be a bit of a challenge. There's 100 schools, and we're the second northern school in New England, so we've expanded our geographics, and we always have, but Florida and D.C. are 2 really good places for us because there's direct flights into Bangor, and so, we've worked those areas pretty good and found a couple of decent players.
All right. I was immediately struck by the fact that you have Coach Katz's grandson, I assume, playing on your team. That's his son.
Yeah.
Okay, I apologize. That's his son playing on your team.
Yeah, Charlie, the dad and the son reached out to us early in the year, particularly Charlie Jr. And then I saw Charlie at an AAU tournament this summer, and we kind of talked about it again. We didn't really recruit him. And then they visit every summer, and we brought him onto campus, and we gave him the opportunity to have a roster spot. And he's great to have. And Coach's son really knows the game and understands where he's at. and really happy to be a part of the program, and that's a great job for us.
Was that coordinated to have you guys and them here at this tournament?
No, it wasn't. We were in California last year. We were supposed to play them.
Okay.
Scheduling got kind of a little a hiccup there, so we didn't. But it's great that they're here, and he'll be able to see his dad, and his mom came to see the game today. So.
All right. And your own son is on the team as well, of course.
Yeah, it's really special. He's my older son. Came back to school to get his doctorate in physical therapy. Coached with us a couple of years, and then Luke transferred in after a year down to Flagler and started playing with us. And it's been really special to have both of them, and particularly him in uniform. Always been a family affair, and come full circle.
It's been a great season for you guys so far. Now 10-1 after the game today. What do you take away from these first set of games, and then kind of getting back here and knocking the rust off of the first game here at the tournament?
Yeah, I was actually pleased, particularly in the second half. I mean, first half went kind of what you might expect, a little rust, and then we played to their style more to ours. Then we got into how we play in the second half, which was great. So, just trying to get back at it and get back into the flow of things. We've had a really good first semester, obviously, being 10-1 and played some good basketball. And as you saw today, we play really well as a group. Mm-hmm. Strong defensively, been strong defensively all year. Aside from maybe that first half, we weren't very good, but matchups weren't perfect. They didn't start a big, and we've got a big, and
right.
So we had to go a little bit of zone, which we haven't played much, but our guys did a pretty good job with it.
Well, I think that was the question, right? So Balzer started and played a couple of minutes, and then we were kind of wondering because it shouldn't be like the pace of the game is an issue because you guys score 84 a game yourself. Clearly, you're moving the ball up and down the floor, but it was more about him not having someone to defend, I guess?
Absolutely. I mean, it's we've had some games like that, and we were, I thought, effective in the zone. We probably could have come back to it, but then we found a really good rhythm in our half-court man, and once you find that rhythm, it's tough to go change it and give them an opportunity. So it was just really one of those calls during the game where we played matchups, and our guys did a good job on the defensive end in the second half.
All right. And you've been here before. You've seen your team shoot here. You've seen other teams shoot here. You know that this end of the gym looks a little different than that end of the gym. Your guys shot really well from three-point range on both sides, though.
Yeah, I give our guys credit. We didn't force the three. We only took 12. We took open ones. The right guys took them, and so that really helped. We came in with the idea that they'd pressure and extend out. That we thought we had room to get into the paint area, and our guys did a good job of that. Didn't finish as well as we liked in the first half, but we did in the second.
Right, tied 45-45 at the end of the first half, and then, of course, you guys outscoring by 21 in the second half, leading by as many as 23. We were really impressed by, almost basically everybody in the backcourt. Maranta, great game. McCauley, freshman out of Washington, D.C. Tell us a little bit about that guy.
Yeah, out of Wise High School. Lou Wilson, the coach there, we've known for 30 years, and we kind of got on Andre late last year and kind of fell in place, and we knew we had a good freshman. We didn't know he was going to play at this level. I mean, he's an elite defender, and offensively he does some really good things too. So we think we've got a really special freshman with Andre, and he keeps proving it every night he steps on the floor.
I know you got another game here at this tournament, but I want to talk about the NAC and the new face of the NAC a little bit. This is a league that keeps changing. You guys are in a divisional setup with some new faces. What's that like so far?
Yeah, Eastern Nazarene, Leslie came in. I think on the other side, Mooresville's in. We lost a couple teams, and there's always a little flow there, but I don't know that that's any different than other Division III conferences. So,
especially not lately.
Yeah, the East-West demographic with the New York teams make it a unique conference, but I've always been, look, tell us who we're going to play. We'll play them anywhere, any place, and just want the opportunity to play, and that's kind of what we tell our guys. Don't get caught up with where we're going. We travel. We like to travel, and the opportunity to play is special, and let's make sure we take advantage of it.
And you've been doing that for 34 years, 34, I think it was.
30 years, head coach. I've been there for 40. Played, assistant coach, and they just haven't figured out how to get rid of me, I guess.
After 548 career wins, I don't know that they're in a hurry to get rid of you, right?
Well, I hope not. I really enjoy what I do. Austin's a special place for me and my family, and love going to work every day, and certainly love coaching. Been at it a long time, and we've had some success along the way.
Well, we were talking before we started recording about, first off, not just your longevity, but, you played for the guy who was before you and coached for, I guess, about just as many years, right?
Yeah, so between Coach McGregor, Bruce McGregor was there for 26 years, started in 68. I took over in 94, so we're 56 years together. We got over 1,100 wins. It's a really special story for both of us. We're really close and have been close, almost since day one. I've been at Husson and continue that way today. Matter of fact, last week I spent 3 days with him down in Florida and was doing some recruiting, some other things, and got to spend some time with him, and we still talk, regularly. So it's just a really special relationship and a special story. I think I'm not sure you can find another institution at any level that has had 2 coaches in 56 years and 1,100 wins.
I wouldn't think so. I know that I hear Don and Brian Lane at Transylvania asking me that question as well, so we'll check on that. But that's Warren Caruso, head coach at Husson. His team victorious here in their first game at the 2023 D3Hoops.com Classic.
At Husson University, our primary goal is to help our students get ahead through academic programs with hands-on experience, by investing in specialized learning spaces with leading-edge technology, on-campus career fairs, and career guidance for life. Husson is how our students get ahead and launch successful careers, and we're with them every step of the way.
We've got more schools than Division I, more fans than Division II, and more upsets than March Madness. There's nearly 850 programs with over 11,000 games leading to 2 national championships. And we've been covering it all for over 2 decades. From Eastern to Occidental, from Puget Sound to Piedmont, from Southwestern to the University of New England, and from Hope to Calvin. Nobody covers Division III basketball like we do. We're D3Hoops.com at www.d3hoops.com.
To be able to say you learned poetry from Ohio's Poet Laureate.
There's a lot of opportunities to do research as an undergraduate student. I've actually had a chance to file for a provisional patent on my research.
We built a pediatric pulse oximeter for use in developing nations.
We built a hypodermic needle incinerator.
Thanks to ThinkBox, I'm developing my concept for a fuel injector that makes jet engines safer and more efficient. It helped me earn a trip to meet President Obama and pitch my company to investors from the TV show Shark Tank.
All I heard was, you have been admitted to Harvard Law School. You come out on the other side and just realize, wow, this is what I can do. This is how far you can go. And it feels really good.
Welcome back to the South Point Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, here at the half of a seesaw game in which Case Western has taken double-digit leads, lost them, taken them again, lost them, and retook it again before the half. Spartans lead 46-38, 48-36 rather at the break. Case Western in that first half shot 55%, 18 of 33, 42% from behind the arc, 8 of 19, made all 4 of their free throw attempts. Clark, 40% from the field, 15 of 37, 2 of 11 from behind the arc, and 4 of 7 from the foul line. Now Clark will have the theoretically easier backdrop. Joining us, they've got the basket that looks more like a traditional D3 gym with the wall close in behind it as opposed to the deep backdrop that on the other side where the opening to the rodeo part of the arena is. So see if that evens out the scoring or the shooting percentages a little bit. Rebounding advantage heavily in favor of the Spartans, 23 to 15. I'm actually surprised it's not more than that. Feels like it was as second chance points. Case Western Reserve with a 9-2 advantage. Points in the paint. Actually, Clark has the advantage here, 20-16, despite the size disadvantage. Scoring in the first half, Anthony Mascio with 15 points, 5 of 6 from the floor, 3 of 4 from behind the arc. Did both of his free throws. Also 5 rebounds and 3 assists in about 18 minutes of work. 10 points for Umar Rashid and 9 points for Colin Kale round out the high scores for Case Western Reserve. Bruce Santillis with 11 points for the Cougars, 9 points for Isaiah Taylor. Mikey O'Brien with 7, and it's just about all of the scoring for the Cougars. They get them all from their 3 starting guards.
Eerily similar to last night.
Yeah.
Case Western Reserve and Oswego at 36-33. Spartans late in the first half before they pulled away into the halftime to put some distance on the Lakers, and they were shooting 54% from the floor and about 40+% from beyond the arc, while Oswego is shooting around a little worse at 31% from the floor, but also struggling from deep. Kind of crazy what the Spartans will do to teams. We'll see how Clark does, though, in this second 20. Oswego was playing from behind and struggled to try and catch up, though they continue to shoot better and ended up finishing 42% for the game, but Case Western Reserve finished 54% for the game. So
yeah,
I'll be fascinated to see how this one plays out with Clark.
Cougars with their starting 5 on the floor. Santillis, along with Taylor, McCardle, O'Brien, and Reed Newman, the 5 on the floor. Taylor looks to go to McCardle, knocked away by Kale. And here's Mazzio, who's got Manigo and Rashid and Thorburn, the 5 on the floor. Also the Spartans starting 5. Isaiah Taylor to the wing. Now Newman as McCardle trying to get position on Colin Kale. Newman will fire up a 3, and Rashid grabs the rebound. So both teams cooled off to start the second half. Rashid for Thorburn. Thorburn hops through the lane, floats it up, and good. Luke Thorburn averages, well, a little under 4 points per game, so not a big scorer. The senior from Houston, Texas, cashes that one in, and the lead is up to 14.
Hoping you're enjoying this wherever, whether it be up in Massachusetts, down the East Coast, across the country, wherever, on a big screen, small screen, mobile. Just maybe listening at home. He's Gordon Mann. I'm Dave McHugh. Here at the D3Hoops.com Classic in Las Vegas. Kicking violation, they say, so the shot clock will be reset to 20. We got one more game tonight, as it will be a cross-country battle, Maine and California. It'll be Hassan out of Bangor against Whittier out of Whittier, California. Ooh.
Taylor has his shot blocked. Massio is pulled to the floor by Taylor.
Compounded the issue. Drawing the foul. Trying to get aggressive with Mazzio. And Taylor picks up his 3rd here to start the second half.
Yeah, they can't afford to take him off the floor.
No.
Played all but 2 minutes in the first half. He's got 3 fouls. Trunley has a couple as for the Spartans, but big difference in terms of the roles they play. Mazzio tries to work free. Taylor does a good job to hang with him. Rashid with 8 on the shot clock will just fire it up, and it turns out to be a perfectly fine decision. Umar Rashid, the junior, with another soft touch.
Pretty sure McCardle thought he was doing a good job there. Oh, man. Oh, no.
Nice job by Newman, and then Newman has his shot swatted and his body knocked off the floor.
Thorburn went reaching for his ankle there. He seems to be okay. Weird sequence there.
Yeah, ball kicked off of Taylor's foot, and it started a free-for-all as the refs try and find the ball underneath the table. It's somewhere in there. There it is.
I was going to say, now it's trying to stay hidden. We don't need any more delays. Let's go.
O'Brien. It's an inbounds to McCardle. O'Brien will take it from him, find a spot he likes. Thorburn crashes into him, but...
That's Kale.
Oh, Colin Kale, excuse me. Not in a position to get the shot off.
I've been doing it all night because they both have a similar look.
Yeah.
Both have got headbands.
Manigo picks up his first personal, and rare free throws here for the Cougars.
Yeah.
Neither team had a lot of attempts in the first half.
That was Clark's problem with Trinity, too, because Trinity was playing in the zone. They didn't get to the free throw line all that much while they were fouling far more against Trinity.
Taylor does a nice job working inside of the much taller Rashid for the rebound, and now Taylor finds McCardle. Trying to make this a three-point possession. McCardle, all kinds of bodies around him, and I don't know how that doesn't go in. That
right? He's wondering the same.
Touches every part of the rim and somehow rolls out. 52-37. Mazzio for Rashid. And now Manigo. Manigo, miscommunication, taken away by Newman. Taylor, 1-on-3, dishes off for Santalis, and Santalis has the ball ripped from his hands. Taylor controls on the loose ball. Still 21 seconds on the shot clock. Plenty of time. Santalis for three. No. McCardle as Rashid tips it to himself and carries it off the floor.
I think Taylor might have gotten a hand on that pass down on the defensive end.
Yeah. Must have, because it was.
Yeah, it
didn't have anything on it.
Right.
O'Brien checks out. Pridgeon back in. Newman to the bench. And Luke Richard returns for the Cougars. McCardle goes to his left hand. Nice job.
That is a great little shot.
Kakoa McCardle shows he's ambidextrous. 52-39. Cougars trying to fight back. Down 13. Mazzio blows by Pridgeon, but Pridgeon shuts off the angle. Manigo for three, and that rattles out. And the rebound controlled by Pridgeon. Looking to push. Luke Richard will pull up, take the three from the near side, and drill it.
That is a great shot.
Luke Richard has played well. Again, only averages 6 points per game.
He's got what?
8 or
9?
7.
Okay. That's just off.
But there's still plenty of time. 17 minutes. That is. Cale rescues the long pass. Got it, count it, and scores. That pass was off the mark for Manigo, but Cale grabbed it and had enough strength and presence to score. And he'll get to the foul line for a three-point play opportunity.
I like Tyler Sims quite a bit, but I believe he's outside the coaching box. You can see him on camera right now.
Yeah, that's a good sign that he's not.
Now he's on the other side of the court.
He's almost in the other coaching box. Would that count?
Maybe. That's a valid argument.
Box? I am in one of the coaching boxes.
Does it say you have to be in your coaching box or just in a coaching box? Good call.
Colin Cale completes the three-point play. He's got 10 points. Spartans with 3 players in double figures. Rashid with 12, Mazzio with 15. Santalis leads all Cougars with 11. McCardle for Pridgeon, who will kick it out. Santalis thinks about a three. Prods the defense instead, finds a spot he likes, floats it, and it won't fall. Rebound knocked out of bounds by Trunley of the Spartans. It's still Cougars ball. Quentin Pridgeon to inbound the ball. Richard left the floater short. McCardle gets the rebound. He's fouled. And man, he just wants to see the ball go through the rim, even if it doesn't count, because he's been so close so many times.
He's fighting hard inside.
Kakoa McCardle, who averages 11 rebounds per game, tops on the Cougars in that category. He's got 5 rebounds now, so pretty much on pace. Free throws 10 and 11 coming here for the Cougars. McCardle misses the first. McCardle, a 52% free throw shooter, so not great. The team as a whole is above average, 71%. Leading free throw shooter is Santillis at 79%. Free throw no good, and missed them both. So 4 shots that are either free throws or point-blank range, and the Cougars come up empty. Driving in. No good, but Thorburn is fouled. Luke will go to the free throw line for 2. And that's Isaiah Taylor's 4th.
Yeah. This game slowed down a little bit into a...
and now I think you have to take him off the floor.
Well, the good news is it looks like O'Brien's ready to come back in after that hard contact in the first half. But the bad news is Taylor leaves, and now you need a spark from somebody who's not Taylor, because I don't think you can bring him in for at least 8 or 9 minutes.
8 or 9 minutes, unless it gets out of hand, right?
Well, if it's out of hand, you might as well just keep him parked, I guess. Yeah. You don't want it to get out of hand. This is tricky.
So you're asking a lot of Santalis here to score.
Yeah.
56-42. Thorburn gets 1
Maybe
of 2.
Pridgeon needs to find a range, too. O'Brien will take over on the point, but he's not a scorer.
Not on his own, he's not.
No.
Richard hands off for Santalis, who's guarded by Trunley. Santalis, again, part of that talented junior guard combination with Isaiah Taylor.
Oh, Pridgen.
Pridgen fade away. Got it. And nicely done there by Quentin Pridgen. And
he doesn't shoot from deep very often. I kind of just instinctually thought he should have taken the deep shot, but that's not really his cup of tea.
Cougars will try and generate offense off of turnovers. Pass.
Almost got it.
Quentin Pridgen gets involved and deflects it into the very far corner of the arena where Anthony Mazzio will take a long walk to go get it.
He's going to be here a while.
No, that's deep into the empty recesses of the gym. Christopher Clark returns. Kakoa McCardle to the bench.
I love his name.
That is a great name. Yeah.
Pittsfield, Mass. Native, Western Massachusetts.
I've never seen.
Right?
I've never seen the first name Kakoa before.
No, either have I. I know a dog named that. I kid you not. Good friends of ours.
Well,
but I think they spelled it different. But it's spelled. It's a Hawaiian name,
yeah.
I believe. I love his game too.
Yeah, he's the perfect complement to the Quicksilver guards that Tyler Sims has. He needs one more of those. He needs one more of those hard-nosed forwards to give a little bit of depth for McCardle.
I agree.
Three-pointer on the way, buried it.
I kid you not. I'll tune into some Clark games this year. I probably wouldn't have normally if I got other choices, but I'm going to be interested to watch how they play the rest of the season.
Trunley with a three. Spartans back up by 15.
Making a living by.
There you
Pridgen.
go. There's Pridgen with your three-pointer.
Yeah, right. Never mind, sir. I'm sorry for speaking down about your three-point shooting.
So the largest lead has been for the Spartans is 16. Rashid catches Pridgen on him.
That was just earlier this half, 52-36. Interesting enough, outscored technically 11-7 since then. Well, not anymore.
Anthony Mazzeo with the basket. Pridgen, who's got the last 5 for the Cougars.
Who's the guard I'm thinking of out of Ohio that also Mazzio reminds me of?
There's a ton of them in the OAC who all have that same, they have that very stocky build.
Yeah.
Very low dribble, good defenders, good three-point shooters, and good ball handlers. And all about the same height.
And it wasn't the Ohio Wesleyan guy. He was more about distributing.
I was thinking Nate Axelrod. I was thinking Ohio Western.
Yeah, but Axelrod wasn't scoring as big a scoring threat as Mazzio is. He was more about just distributing. That's going to bug me. I'm sure there's one of our friends watching online going, I can't believe Dave can't remember this guy.
61-47, 14-point lead for the Spartan turned Red Cat for tonight, wearing the Western Reserve throwback uniforms.
Because they're playing Clark, I'm convinced.
Just to mess with them mentally, you think?
Yeah, and me, because I see red. By the way, Spartans, nothing against anybody at Case Western Reserve when you decided to go with Spartans, but you had a lot of great choices.
you had 3 better options with the Scientists, the Rough Riders, and the
Red Cats. What
and the Red Cats.
Oh,
any of those would have been better. Trunley for 3, and he is fouled. Luke Richards says, I did not foul him.
He didn't let him land.
Yeah. Trunley to the free throw line.
Trunley may have made a meal out of it, but he also didn't let him land.
3 free throws coming here for Sam Trunley. His team seemingly comfortably in front, at least at the moment, by 14.
Well, right. We've seen the lead evaporate to Clark on several occasions.
Well, Trunley misses the first free throw. 6 of 8 from the foul line.
Keep it a minute.
Spartans, yeah.
Trunley's a 95.5% free throw shooter. That's a rare miss.
Problem has been that the guy that has led those surge comebacks for Clark is sitting with 4 fouls, Isaiah Taylor. 62-47. Trunley gets the rubber match there, gets 2 of 3. 63-47.
So the foul was worth it, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I guess so. I believe Trunley was going to make that 3.
Right.
63-47. Pridgen, nice pass for Santalis. Santalis turns around, awkward angle. No, but he's fouled, and He'll go to the line for 2.
Trunley picks it up. He's a little bit ticked off about it. He puts his hands up like I was standing straight up. I don't remember his hands being straight up. Maybe I'm remembering the moment wrong. But I thought it was one of his hands was kind of pushing off.
His 3rd foul. He picked up 2 very quickly in the first half, but went a long time before he got his 3rd. Nice Santalis at the free throw line hits the 1st. Good free throw shooter, tops on the team, 79%. Big sigh for the Bridgeton Academy alum. He hits the 2nd. 63-49, lead hanging at 14 for the moment. Case Western bringing the ball up the floor. Preston McHugh back out there for the Spartans. It's McHugh right there. Finds a spot he likes. Richard on him. Mazzio for Trunley. Driving in, Trunley got it, count it, going to the line. Trunley finishes strong.
That may be getting to the point, and they haven't gone to Taylor yet, but they're going to bring in Calabrese here. You're getting to a point where this is going to, the rubber band's going to snap.
Right, it's a good way of putting it. It's hard to imagine you having that, and the problem is every time they've come back, they haven't gotten even, they've gotten close, but they've used so much energy. It's a 3 and a 2 away from being a double-digit lead again. So. Bridget McCardle, Newman, and Calabrese, the 5 on the floor for the, and O'Brien, excuse me, the 5 on the floor for the Cougars, who now find themselves down 17. Case Western trying to become the 29th team to go 2-0 here in the 13 years at the D3Hoops.com Classic.
That's for those scoring at home, right?
Yes. 17 of the 28 have been to the NCAA tournament. Of course, we don't know what will happen in Trinity because they were the 28th earlier today. Again, I think that's more correlation than causation, but
one of them was a national champ eventually.
That's right.
Actually, 2 of them. No, I'm thinking the Hoopsville Classic. Apologies. I was thinking of St. Thomas. At least one of them.
There's been a couple of teams that have gone completely the other way, too. Muskingum went 2-0 here and lost every other game but one the rest of the way.
By the way, I
don't think that's going to happen to either Trinity or Case Western. But
Muskingum was a sneaky good team in the OAC this year.
That was a weird. They came here, they looked awesome, and then they lost every other game the rest of their season except for one.
They've already turned some heads in the OAC this season.
That's a very, very entertaining conference. Every Saturday, Mount Union or John Carroll has their hands full with somebody pushing them to the limits.
Marietta, Heidelberg, Otterbein.
Yep. Even Wilmington and Ohio Northern. Yes. Ohio Northern might be the hardest luck team in the country. They find a way to lose every game by like 2 points. Nice catch from Newman.
Newman found his ups there.
68-49.
No, I saw Muskingum earlier this season. They really impressed. They've already gotten some good results.
McCardle misses the first. Second one is blocked.
Heck, Muskingum beat Gettysburg in the opening game. That's a Gettysburg team that beat WPI today.
Good defense from Ian Elam. McGinnis exercised about something. Well, now he's exercised about Ian Elam getting the trapping violation.
It didn't look right. It felt like he
did
dragged
not appreciate the response.
It felt like he dragged his pivot on the spin.
Yeah.
It looked nice, but it didn't look right at all. So I can see that call.
Umar Rashid checks out of the game. Well-deserved break for him. Spartans will bring Kale back in.
Sorry, couldn't resist. In the meantime, Taylor's going to have to avoid that 5th.
Yep, he comes back in. His team down 16 with 10:26 to play.
Well, it's now or never, and he was out 6 minutes.
What's the point of bringing him back in if you're down 25?
Yeah, exactly. You got to do it. You got to take the gamble now. He's got to play smart. It takes his defensive limit out. And by the way, nice shot from Newman there.
13-point lead. Trunley, who's played well. It's pretty much a whoa. Gale catches it, and it was Taylor, and that's where you see the defensive differences. He's not going to challenge and pick up his 5th foul on a 6'6" center laying the ball in.
Who called that? Case?
I did not hear yet.
I think they did.
Yes. Full timeout taken by the Spartans. We'll take it with them. You're watching the 2023 D3Hoops.com Classic.
To be able to say you learned poetry from Ohio's poet laureate.
There's a lot of opportunities to do research as an undergraduate student. I've actually had a chance to file for a provisional patent on my research.
We built a pediatric pulse oximeter for use in developing nations.
We built a hypodermic needle incinerator.
Thanks to ThinkBox, I'm developing my concept for a fuel injector that makes jet engines safer and more efficient. It helped me earn a trip to meet President Obama and pitch my company to investors from the TV show Shark Tank.
All I heard was, you have been admitted to Harvard Law School. You know, you come out on the other side and just realize, like, wow, like, this is what I can do. This is how far you can go. And it feels really good.
We've got more schools than Division I, more fans than Division II, and more upsets than March Madness. There's nearly 850 programs with over 11,000 games leading to 2 national championships. And we've been covering it all for over 2 decades. From Eastern to Occidental, from Puget Sound to Piedmont, from Southwestern to the University of New England, and from Hope to Calvin. Nobody covers Division III basketball like we do. We're D3Hoops.com at www.d3hoops.com.
Welcome back. All right, we're getting our stat update. No problem, sir. Thank you very much. Case Western leading Clark 70-55. I'm Dave McHugh. It is not the third period. We'll fix that with our graphics. Camera sometimes doesn't like to cooperate with us.
Santalis for 3. That's off the mark. No good. Rebound controlled by Trunley. Spartans.
Jeez, they're still shooting. They're shooting 67% for this half, Gordon. 58% for the game.
Yeah, between them and Trinity, it has been very impressive shooting share as Kale leans in and scores again. 72-55. Spartans by 17 now.
They've been shooting well over their average all event.
Ian Calabrese for 3. He's a 50% three-point shooter, and he's got at least 10 attempts. Can't tell you how many, but I know he's got at least 10. The way the scoring sheet is constructed.
Yeah.
So
Ooh, Taylor.
72 for 58. Taylor pokes it away. Team down 14. Luke Richard in. Reed Newman out.
This is probably what I would say is the pivotal point. You can close the gap and keep it tight here at 14. We got a game.
Yeah,
but if you let the Spartans get away again, I think it's over.
Trunley.
Oh, Kale's trying to get Taylor in trouble. What a job by Taylor on defense.
Down for Santalis, who absorbs the blow. Got it. Count it. Going to the line, and it's down to 12.
Kale had Taylor screened out, calling for the ball in the post. Had Taylor in a really tough spot. Taylor backed off, spun around just on the timing they spotted him and got the clean steal, and then led down the court to an and-one opportunity. Great play.
Great play by Taylor, and they're going to take him off the floor at least briefly. Again, trying to use him in spurts.
Case Western's bringing in the main lineup now. Trying to find.
Yeah, trying to put this away.
Yeah, trying to keep this from becoming a comeback.
12-point lead. Santalis can make it 11, and he does.
One of several games we've had that have had that NCAA feel to it, right?
Santalis 15 points now, 16 points. Gives chase to, and he nearly gets a steal, and he does.
Does get it.
Santalis takes it away. O'Brien over for Richard. Richard draws a crowd.
No, take your time. Take your time.
For Santalis.
Run the offense here. Go, get a good look.
Looks at Clark to the right side. O'Brien drives in. Hesitates with Preston McHugh on him. Reed Newman for 3. That's off the mark, and rebound for McHugh, who gets smack-out in the face and also kneed in the thigh. So McHugh pays the price on that one.
Well done, sir. Well done.
And Richard, just in case he didn't see me do it before, this time we'll do it with nobody else. Everybody else
You
watching.
will see it now.
Yeah. Taylor will check in. That is the 7th foul on the Cougars, so McHugh's going to go to the free throw line for 2. Preston McHugh, a graduate student from Big Bend, Wisconsin. Phillips Exeter Academy. Went from there and
Phillips Exeter located in New England.
Yeah,
prep school.
Stayed close by for college. Went to Wesleyan, which is in Middletown, Connecticut, and then graduate school here at Case Western.
For all those who went to Phillips Exeter, they understand they didn't go to the best school, unfortunately for them.
I'm aware it's one of those elite liberal or elite high schools there.
Too
private
bad it's
high
not
schools.
better,
Are they the big rival of?
One of several.
Yeah, I know. I went to one of those. I went to Trinity, so I had a lot of classmates
classmates of mine
who had a lot of names that did not look like the name of the school that I went to, which was simply Town High School, right? Town you live in high school.
You definitely had classmates of mine, especially in the squash team.
74-61. Cougars hanging around, but have not been able to close the gap within 7. Santalis kicks over Richard for 3. No. Hits the side of the rim, or side of the glass.
That's the first bad shot, or just bad look shot that he'd take. Yeah, but it wasn't a bad shot. He just.
Mazzio, Manigo blows by Taylor, misses the layup. Thorberg follow.
My.
Richard will find the rebound, and the Cougars come back the other way. 7.5 to play. We haven't mentioned the shot clock at all because we have not needed it. These teams move and shoot very quickly.
It's one of those games where I'm glad we don't have to make sure we have the data for it.
Yeah. 74-61, 7:20 to play. Mazzio off of a double screen. Passes down low. Kale for 2. Beautiful look. Once again, a thing of beauty in the Case Western offense. Kale was 16 points. Mazzio was 17. Rashid and Trunley also in double digits. As Taylor fights through the defense and scores over the top of Manigo for 2. Timeout taken by Clark. And lead at 13 for the Cougars. It's a full timeout for Tyler Sims Cougars. We'll take it with him. You're watching the D3Hoops.com Classic.
More schools than Division I, more fans than Division II, and more upsets than March Madness. There's nearly 850 programs with over 11,000 games leading to 2 national championships. And we've been covering it all for over 2 decades. From Eastern to Occidental, from Puget Sound to Piedmont, from Southwestern to the University of New England, and from Hope to Calvin. Nobody covers Division III basketball like we do. We're D3Hoops.com at www.d3hoops.com.
To be able to say you learned poetry from Ohio's Poet Laureate.
There's a lot of opportunities to do research as an undergraduate student. I've actually had a chance to file for a provisional patent on my research.
We built a pediatric pulse oximeter for use in developing nations.
We built a hypodermic needle incinerator.
Thanks to ThinkBox, I'm developing my concept for a fuel injector that makes jet engines safer and more efficient. It helped me earn a trip to meet President Obama and pitch my company to investors from the TV show Shark Tank.
All I heard was, you have been admitted to Harvard Law School. You come out on the other side and just realize, wow, this is what I can do. This is how far you can go. And it feels really good.
Welcome back. Case Western Reserve University with a 13-point lead on the Clark University Cougars. Cleveland and Worcester, Massachusetts represented here. Coming up, Bangor, Maine, and Southern California in our last game.
Because that's what you get.
Yeah, just about the only place I can think of where you can consistently see very far West Coast and very far East Coast teams playing each other, unless someone from New England is going to California to play a game, which does happen.
Does occasionally, yeah. A little more often than usual. Or nowadays more often than it has been.
Mazzio floats it up and in and scores again. And Mazzio going to make the decision for most outstanding player pretty difficult between him and Jacob Harvey of Trinity.
Yeah,
as a blocking foul called. Pridgeon.
Hey, hats off to Thorburn, by the way, right there. Nodded his head in agreement.
Yep. Too close.
I got to think it's got to be Mazzio. I know Harvey had a great game, don't get me wrong. But
yeah, that's tough. I mean,
he's just the linchpin.
Yeah.
On a team
Harvey
that's
doesn't hit the shot last night. They don't win the game, though. I mean,
I agree.
Deep 3. It's a fun debate to have.
I think Mazzio's.
We'll just break the plaque in half and send half of it to each one of them.
I think Mazzio just put the game, or helped put 2 really good teams on their rear ends.
There isn't a separate
No, there is not a separate most outstanding plaque. Your name is just it is.
So we can just tell them
it is virtual.
We can tell it's a co, and they wouldn't know anything better.
Psychic benefit.
Solved. It's solved.
Colin Kale passes over for Manigo. Manigo tries to get it to Mazzio. Stolen by Santalis. Richard, 2-on-1 break. Yeah, got it. Count it. Going to the line. Luke Richard, strong finish.
Strong? Strong? I'll give you finish. I'd say lucky finish.
Well, strong and then graceful. How about that? Richard has played really well. Again, this guy averages
6 points a game,
6 points a game, but he is, again, he's up to 9. He could make it 10. Only played 20 minutes. Seems like longer.
I agree with you.
Misses
he
the
makes
free
an
throw.
impact when he's out there.
And Rashid gets
just a dumb foul.
Who was they fouled by? I
Santalis,
didn't see a Cougar.
I think it's Santalis.
Okay.
Yep, it is. Yeah, he just shoved him. Didn't need to do it.
Now Santalis picks up the foul, his second, but the team's 8th, and so single bonus still.
Taylor McCardle will come in, by the way.
The Spartans, yeah. One thing Clark has not done well is shoot free throws. They're 9 of 17, and in a game where they need every point. Christopher Clark and Quentin Pridgett out. Pridgeon.
Yeah, I think Case Western's making a really hard argument for those looking for a first-place vote.
Yeah, so I was going to ask. You've got, John Carroll lost. Calvin got obliterated today.
I love Hamden-Sydney. I've watched them in that John Carroll game. That's the 3rd game I think I've watched them in, and they are really good.
And their loss was to Guilford, correct?
Yeah, and that's not
a bad one.
Not a bad one at all. But you got a Spartan team. Their lone loss is to, remind me because I just blanked.
Case Western, they're undefeated, so no one at this point. But.
Right, you're right. No, you're right, of course. What's going on here?
No, wait. 9-1, is that not right?
No, I think that you are correct that they are undefeated. I can go look at my team file. I could have just cheated. Yeah, 10-0 coming into today.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. No, I think it's them or Hamden-Sydney for me. The problem is Hamden-Sydney does have the loss, so it's probably going to come down to me putting it on the Spartans. Because
it's a matter of what do you like better, the absence of a loss or the presence of a win? What do you which win do you like better? Do you like beating John Carroll or do you like beating Oswego State? I think I like John Carroll a little better at least. Whoa! Isaiah Taylor. That was a nifty play.
What the heck did I just watch? Yeah. But I think it's more than just. I think that's almost too simple.
Yeah. Mazzio for 3.
2.
Oh, long 2.
The long foot on the. He got his toenail over the line.
82-68, 5 minutes to play. Taylor drives in, zips off Luke Richard for 3. Yes. Richard into double digits. Cougars managing to hang around. One thing Tyler Sims is going to have to be happy about, and I think he will be based on our conversation last night, is how mentally tough his team has played.
I agree with you.
They are going to be a tough out.
I'm trying to remember what my top 5 ballot looked like, other than I was the one lone voter for Oswego. I know John Carroll was up there. I know Hamden-Sydney was up there. I know Case Western was up there. I'm trying to remember
the other teams we did not mention who are between Case Western and the top Tufts, who lost yesterday.
Yeah, see, I'm not
2
voting
number
that
1
high
votes, ranked 5th.
But I'm not. I don't have them that high.
And Wisconsin Whitewater, who's 6-1.
And I don't have them that high. So it's going to come down to Hamden-Sydney or Case for me. I'm probably going to go with Case.
Yeah.
With Hamden-Sydney too.
And then the teams in behind Case, nobody at this point in behind them has a case for, no pun intended, but for number 1. You got NYU, their conference mates, Trinity out of Connecticut, the other Trinity, and Keene State, kind of rounding out the top 11. 82-71, Cougars hanging around, just trying to get one more surge and one kind of miracle finish. Looking at me like I'm supposed to make a decision here. 3 on the way, up and good. Well, he could make this moot by just making every single shot he takes.
That's kind of where I'm leaning on this.
That would make this a much easier decision. 3 on the way.
No one stopped him.
85-71, no.
And he can score anywhere. And he's been playing pretty good defense on top of that. He's
Oh, my gosh.
Come on. He's my argument. He's putting this game away.
Anthony Mazzio, complete and utter dominance.
Said,
at
hey,
this
guys,
point.
this is my back. Climb on board.
26 points, 8 rebounds. Santalis for 3.
Keeping it a little bit interesting.
Well, they just gave that 3 to the wrong team.
I was going to say, hold on a minute.
It should be 87-74. They just gave the 3 to Case Western.
I think they're fixing it. Yep, fixing
there
it now.
There we go. I know they score a lot, but
I was about to say,
they don't need any more help. They don't need another transfer. Bruce Santillis from Clark. Mid-game transfer. Kales can't finish.
That is well done, sir. I heard some D1 coach who thinks there's going to be transfers or trades eventually in college sports. I don't think we'll get that far, but we could have had it just there in mid-game.
Right, well.
You know? That's outstanding.
Colin Kale for free throws 4 and 5. He's 3 for 3 tonight. Now he's 4 for 4.
Taylor back in. They give Pridgeon a break. This will be Taylor. I have a feeling Taylor's going to be a little bit more aggressive here.
Ryan
got
Scott,
nothing to lose.
Ryan Scott has pointed out that this is a Case Western team that averages close to 100 points per game, so they can score at
absolutely.
a torrid pace.
89.7 coming in.
Yeah, so
defensively allowing, 74?
Yeah.
Not bad. But that's because they got so many weapons. Newman! Oh, Newman.
Reed Newman for 3. Over. It's a 12-point lead.
Jeez.
Kale.
You cannot count Clark out.
Santalis. Mazzio gives it off for Trunley, and Trunley will give it back to Anthony.
That's like, give it back to me. Well, he's going to try and take on Taylor here, who's got 4 fouls.
Holding the ball away from him, trying to ward him off with the elbows. 3 from Kale is good. Now Colin Kale, 23 points.
For the record, Kale, if he was playing lacrosse, also has a very nice head of lettuce. If you're wondering what that means, talking about his hair.
Yeah, it is nice. 92-79.
Figured I'd play off a Kale there for a second.
Clark knocks the ball away from Santillis, and you can see from their bench they're still into the game, mentally speaking. Not a big bench for Clark, just a handful of guys on it. And they used almost all of them.
Todd McGinnis calls a 30-second break. Wants to double-check something on the scorers boards. Should point out Case Western Reserve will be in the double bonus next foul from Clark.
I think the question was whether Kale hit a 3 or a long 2.
No, because that was a question on a few shots today. Well, if you've got a 30, you've used your time, Todd.
Yeah.
30 seconds on
He just got it started. He is a lucky man. They just started the clock on his 30-second break. Yeah, I'm still leading toward Mazzio per the question we asked earlier. I listen. Great game from Harvey. Great games.
All-tournament team.
I mean, they're both making the tournament team.
Yeah. To this point, on the women's side, it's Dials from Ohio Northern.
Ohio Northern's an interesting team this year. That OAC is going to be wide open. Alden Wallace doesn't blow anyone away.
Nope.
Marietta's not. I mean, they're good, but they're not as strong as they're used to. Ohio Northern.
Yep, that should
going to be in
probably those 3 teams. We'll see if somebody else gets in the mix.
He's going. Oh, some extracurricular activities. They're discussing where dinner plans are taking place tonight. Where they're going to catch a cocktail, maybe.
Because they're definitely all like 24 years old.
Mazzio for Kale. Those 2 guys have starred down the line here. They've got 51 points between the 2 of them. 28 for Anthony and 23 for Colin.
Taylor being careful with his 4 fouls.
And Taylor strips it away. Richard a no-look pass to Newman. And Newman will throw it down with 2 hands. 92-81, 11-point lead.
Not over.
Clark still hanging around. Mazzio guarded by Taylor, and he's done.
Yep, it was bound to happen, right?
Yep.
He had to get aggressive at some point. Hats off, though. He played well with those 4 fouls.
And I would imagine he will be on the all-tournament team as Clark's representative.
Certainly. Absolutely agree. So I think Richard gave him a good run for it today.
He played well today. They will definitely need that play down the stretch as they head back into conference play.
I like McArdle for this team. There's a lot about this Clark team I like. And young, relatively speaking.
Yep.
Let's see, O'Brien's a senior, and that's it. No,
yeah,
Jordan Richard.
Just O'Brien. Yeah, Jordan Richard, who we did not see in this game, at least.
No, he's the one we've been enjoying.
Oh, I'm sorry. Correct. Right. Yep.
But, I mean, the rest of this core comes back. That's a scary thing to consider if you're in the NUMAC.
Yep. Free throw up and good for Mazzio, adding to his total. He's now got 29, his team up 13.
They've got a 6'7" freshman we haven't even seen in Malik Matanmi.
94-83, 11-point game, 1:35 to play. Quentin Pridgeon trying to take the ball away. One thing they have forced the Spartans to do is keep their starters on the floor for the full 40 minutes.
Todd tried to pull him, right? McGinnis tried to pull him, and he had to bring him back in when all of a sudden the game was down to 12.
Mazzio spins on Pridgeon, works on O'Brien, and finally misses.
I was going to say, I haven't seen that in a while.
Santalis quickly down the floor. His team down 11. Hangs shot, no good, and
landing.
He lands on his backside, fouled by Preston McHugh, or Mako, excuse me.
That's all right. We were getting fooled last night by it, and I want to thank our good friend John Schwartz emailing me mid-game going, don't worry, the PA announcer is the one throwing you off.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Kale's name for the...
Yeah, he's not saying it right either.
Trying to block it out as he's...
Yep. John Schwartz, who used to be in the sports information staff at Emory, moved up to Case Western.
Didn't like the warm weather, huh?
I guess not. He really wanted to see some snow off the lake.
94-85. Spartans lead by 9. Another full timeout. We'll take it with them. 67 seconds left in this one. We'll be back at the D3Hoops.com Classic.
To be able to say you learned poetry from Ohio's Poet Laureate.
There's a lot of opportunities to do research as an undergraduate student. I've actually had a chance to file for a provisional patent on my research.
We built a pediatric pulse oximeter for use in developing nations.
We built a hypodermic needle incinerator.
Thanks to ThinkBox, I'm developing my concept for a fuel injector that makes jet engines safer and more efficient. It helped me earn a trip to meet President Obama and pitch my company to investors from the TV show Shark Tank.
All I heard was, you have been admitted to Harvard Law School. You know, you come out on the other side and just realize, like, wow, like, this is what I can do. This is how far you can go. And it feels really good.
We've got more schools than Division I, more fans than Division II, and more upsets than March Madness. There's nearly 850 programs with over 11,000 games leading to 2 national championships. And we've been covering it all for over 2 decades. From Eastern to Occidental, from Puget Sound to Piedmont, from Southwestern to the University of New England, and from Hope to Calvin. Nobody covers Division III basketball like we do. We're D3Hoops.com at www.d3hoops.com.
67 seconds left. Case Western getting themselves organized on the inbounds play. Spartans lead within single digits for the first time in a while. There's not a lot of time left. Mazzio gets it across to Trunley. Well done on the half court. Now Trunley waits to get fouled. It does by O'Brien. After this game, Cougars head home. On Wednesday, they will rejoin conference play. They are 2-0 in conference with wins over Wheaton and Salve Regina, the newest entrant into the NUMAC.
Yeah, that's going to take a while to get used to.
Yeah. They will be at Babson. Babson Park, short drive, but a long trip, so to speak.
Yeah, good test.
And then home for Coast Guard Academy, and then Emerson. Case Western comes home, and then they get into conference play. The first weekend is a little lighter because they play their travel partner. They'll make the couple-hour drive from Cleveland to Pittsburgh to play Carnegie Mellon, then home for NYU and Brandeis, and then 4 road games in a row. Emory, Rochester, Chicago, and WashU. Oh, Pridgeon loses the ball. Mazzio has it. 48 seconds to play. And these last 48 seconds will be as strenuous as Clark wants them to be. Trunley trying to hide.
Yeah.
Gets it off for Mazzio. 14 seconds and a layup for Thornburn will put this one away. 98-85, O'Brien up the floor. Valiant effort from Clark in both of their games. A very good 8-3. Richard for 2.
Oh, yeah, no, listen, very good team. Do not discount this Clark squad. If they get into the tournament, they're going to be a tough out.
Final 12 seconds tick off the clock. Mazzio, one finger in the air. Congratulations for his teammates, Rashid. As Case Western Reserve wearing the red and white of Western Reserve. With the victory, they are the 29th team in the history of the D3Hoops.com Classic to go 2-0. Most of those teams have made it to the NCAA tournament. Case Western can wait. I think Tuesday is when the next ballot, the next top 25 comes out.
Tuesday?
I would assume so.
Oh boy.
You're
right. I gotta prepare.
Spartans will see how much they move up in the rankings. And Clark heads home to take some hard-fought lessons away and get ready for NewMac play.
No, this event's going to get Clark ready for NewMac much better than what they had last year. Again, I think this Cougars squad, they may not make waves this year, but they are preparing for the future.
They might be a year away. A year away.
I think they're going to be very good. Finish out this season, but learn all of that heading into next year.
Tyler Sims has learned well from James Cosgrove and the other. He plays a very Trinity style. It's not pretty, but it's not pretty, but it's gritty.
Yeah.
As the Sims in the Cougars will return to New England. Case Western heads back to Cleveland. And we head into a break. And then we'll come back for our final game of the night. The Whittier College Poets out of Southern California will try and slow down the high-flying Hudson University Eagles out of Bangor, Maine. For Pat Coleman and Dave McHugh, this is Gordon Mann. For those of you joining us just for this one, have a good night and a Happy New Year, everyone.
To be able to say you learned poetry from Ohio's Poet Laureate.
There's a lot of opportunities to do research as an undergraduate student. I've actually had a chance to file for a provisional patent on my research.
We built a pediatric pulse oximeter for use in developing nations.
We built a hypodermic needle incinerator.
Thanks to ThinkBox, I'm developing my concept for a fuel injector that makes jet engines safer and more efficient. It helped me earn a trip to meet President Obama and pitch my company to investors from the TV show Shark Tank.
All I heard was, you have been admitted to Harvard Law School. You know, you come out on the other side and just realize, like, wow, like, this is what I can do. This is how far you can go. And it feels really good.